दर्शनीति नामिने वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन जन जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। प्रभुपद जय 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 गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव। जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् शिल भाई चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। ISKCON BBT founder Acharya His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada की जय। जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य शिलदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्यामकुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुनौती धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। रमणित धाम की जय। गंगामयी जमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। भगवान कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। अर्जुन भगवान की जय। समवेत वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sisi Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Prabhus and mothers. Mother Anastasia, who is with you?
This is Petra.
Ah, Hare Krishna. Nice to meet you. Prahladananda Prabhu ki jai. Thank you. Somen Prabhu ki jai. Mother Puja is here. Mother Shivani is here. Shri Hari Radha Dasi is here. Very good. Please fold your hand and pray if you can 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat Nashtaprayasya Abhadreshu Nittam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. Those who are new, Mother Anastasia's friend, you don't have to feel insecure. Oh my God, so many prayers. I don't even any clue what is these Sanskrit prayers. Don't worry. If you just remember a simple thing, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, personality of Godhead who purifies our consciousness. We want our consciousness to be purified. Do you know how you connected in the material world? Are you in the spiritual world? Are you in the material world? Where are you? If that question ever comes to your mind, you should know you can connect spiritual world through your consciousness. You can be sitting in Savannah, Georgia. I'm assuming that's where you are. But you can connect to Golok Vrindavan spiritual world from here through your consciousness. Now, saying that, you can also connect to hellish places. Of course, we don't want that, but how come some people experience hellish experience in their life? They have to go to hell or heaven. These are all through the one connection, not 2 or 3, one. Source of connection is one, consciousness. And consciousness means where consciousness emanates from? From the heart of the soul, not from the body, not from the mind, not from the intelligence. It comes from the soul's heart. And consciousness means thinking, willing, feeling. So if you think of Krishna, you can be sitting in Georgia Savannah, but you can reach to Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. Of course, saying is easy, but it's not that easy. But if we practice little bit every day, yes, it is possible. So thank you for joining. With that note, we are on the Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, text 4. I think we finished text 3. We discussed about how rare is devotee. Hare Krishna Madharina, nice to see you too. So let's see. So we finished 1 and 2 and 3. This is a beautiful chapter. You feel like to hold the whole Bhagavad Gita to your chest, to your heart. Well, this chest means it's a physical heart. But by thinking, you can hold this in your spiritual heart by consciousness. So we are going to read text 4 and onwards. Would someone like to volunteer?
Can I read?
Okay.
Bhumi apunalo vayu kamamano buddhi devacha ahankarityam me Bina parak parak parakrit
Prakriti.
prakriti
Prakriti.
prakriti as, astada bhumi apa water anala fire vayu air kama ether mana mind buddhi intelligence eva certainly cha and ahankar false ego iti thus yam all these me my binna separated parak- prakriti energies astada total eight earth water fire air ether mind intelligence and false ego all together these eight comprise my separated material energies. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God and his divine energies. Material nature is called Pragati or the energy of the Lord in his different Purusha incarnations, expansions as described in the Shavarta Tantra. विष्णु तु त्रीणि रूपाणि पुराक्षायनि अथो विधो एकान्तु मतः शास्त्रे शक्ति सृष्टि दिव्यत्यां त अन्धा समिष्ठां तृतीयां सर्वभूतस्तथं तानि ज्ञात्वा विमुच्यते. For material creation, Lord Krishna's plenary expansions assume three Vishnus. The first, Mahavishnu, creates total material energy known as Mahatattva. The second, Garbhodaya Vishnu, enters into all the universes to create diversity in each of them. The third, Kriyodaya Vishnu, is diffused as the all-pervading supersoul in all the universes and is known as Paramatma, who is present even within the atoms. Anyone who knows these three Vishnus can be liberated from material entanglement. This material world is a temporary manifestation of one of the energies of the Lord. All the activities of the material world are directed by these three Vishnu expansions of Lord Krishna. These Purushas are called incarnations. Generally, one who does not know the science of God, Krishna, assumes that this material world is for enjoyment of the living entities and that the living entities are the cause Purushas, controllers and enjoyers of the material energy. According to Bhagavad Gita, this atheistic conclusion is false. In the verse under discussion, it is stated that Krishna is original cause of the material manifestation. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms this. The ingredients of the material manifestations are separated energies of the Lord. Even the Brahma Jyoti, which is the ultimate goal of the impersonalist, is a spiritual energy manifested in the spiritual sky. There are no spiritual diversity in Brahma Jyoti as there are in the Vaikuntha Lokas, and the impersonalist accepts this Brahmajyoti as the ultimate internal goal. The Paramatma manifestation is also a temporary all-pervasive aspect of the Kriyo Dakshayi Vishnu. The Paramatma manifestation is not internal in the spiritual world. Therefore, the factual absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He is the complete energetic person and he possesses different separated and internal energies. In the material energy, the principal manifestation are eight as above mentioned. Out of these, the first five manifestations, namely earth, water, fire, air, and sky, are called five gignetic creations or gignetic creations, within which the five sense objects are included. They are the manifestation of physical sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. Material science comprises these 10 items are nothing more, but the other three items, namely mind, intelligence, and false ego, are neglected by the materialists. Philosophers who deal with material mental activities are also not perfect in knowledge because they do not know the ultimate source, Krishna. The false ego I am and it is mine, which constitute the basic principles of material existence, includes 10 sense organs and material activities. Intelligent refers to the total material creation called the Mahatattva. Therefore, the eight separated energies of the Lord are manifested the 24 elements of the material world, which are the subject matter of Sankhya atheistic philosophy. They are originally offshoots from Krishna's energies and are separated from him, but atheistic Sankhya philosophers with a poor fund of knowledge do not know Krishna as the cause of all causes. The subject matter for discussion in the Sankhya philosophy is only the manifestation of the external energy of Krishna as it is described in the Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay. This is a beautiful sloka, isn't it? All of you heard it. Now, if I ask you a question, Mother Ina, who is in your heart?
It's Kshiradakashaya Vishnu, which is Paramatma.
Very good. You did pay attention. You graduated now. Thank you. Yes, Kshiradakshaya Vishnu in your heart. Now, do you want to keep him there or you want to invite Lord Krishna to sit there?
It's a tricky question.
It is a tricky question, but it's required.
If it's his potency already in your heart, then it's not a replacement, it's just him in a different form, in the highest personality. So it's not, like, I can't say that it's a replacement, but it's just attraction to a different form, to the highest form of God, which is personality of God.
There is a beautiful explanation given that Mukhasya Jata Mukhasri, whatever you decorate, how you decorate your face, you see in the mirror reflects. If I don't have a tilak, the mirror can never produce tilak. If I have a tilakam on my forehead, if I have a lot of hair instead of shave, whatever is in here, I cannot see, but mirror will show. Similarly, what is in our heart, Krishna reciprocate according to our heart's condition. So here we understand Kshiradakshaya Vishnu is like a super soul. For what? For you to get the benefit. What you deserve, he will give you. What you, that doesn't mean only good stuff, could be bad stuff also, because people suffer. Now, when you come in Krishna consciousness, like right now, you are hearing, you are expressing your interest. At least you have an intention, and in your action, you are sitting here to hear about Krishna. So then super soul manifestation will be replaced in a sense, because there is no language actually how it works. Means when Krishna comes, for an example, if you say, Pran Govinda Das, I like everything to be good society, social structure, relationship, everything is perfect. Nobody lies, nobody steals, everybody is good, nobody dies, nobody is sick. I like that kind of, just everybody has their own life. We don't have to be too much in love with God. Do you know who will appear in your heart? You have any idea?
Paramatma.
No. Lord Ramachandra. And if you say, I don't care, I don't believe, I don't want to believe anything, leave me alone. I'll do whatever I want. I don't need to want to know anything. I don't want to believe anything. I don't care. And I mean, maybe you never meet person, but they do exist, just to let you know in case. And if you think like, is it possible? Like, what will happen? Is the super soul in your heart, in that person's heart, and that person is like really going against the devotional path and is going, he will meet a particular form of Lord. Who is that? Anyone from the audience?
Mahamaya Prabhu?
No, Krishna in a form, a particular form.
Oh, okay.
That will be the devotee, pure devotee of Lord Sri Krishna.
Oh,
Consensus.
no. Yeah, possible, Krishna may send, but that soul will meet Kali. Kali. When Kalki Avatar, in Kali Yuga, Kalki Avatar comes when you have no interest about God consciousness. You have no interest, you don't want to talk, you don't want to be around, you literally convincing yourself, I don't want to be part of this, any religion, I don't want to believe in, and you go on, you will meet Kalki. He will come and purify you by chopping your body into pieces. And then the subtle body will have some opportunity to receive. But the impression that you didn't believe, you don't want to believe is still there. But it will be purified by the mercy of the Lord. Now, if you say, I want to be peaceful. Can I be just peaceful? I don't want to do too much chanting Krishna's name. I just want to be just peaceful and not do anything. Who it can be?
Chaitanya Nidai?
Who? What's the name, Mother? Shihori Radha? Wow.
What are you saying? If you want to be peaceful, then he's going to come?
But you don't want to be God conscious, but you want a peace.
Like a Buddhist philosophy, no?
Yeah, Buddha will come. You will see instead of Paramatma, Buddha just appeared. So why I'm bringing this? Just to give you some idea where your consciousness, what level of consciousness you are dwelling on. You inviting that incarnation of God. He will be eternally with you. You cannot be separate from him. And if you say, I don't want to believe anything, that is also there. If you say, I want to believe everything, how about I'll fall in love with God? You can have any idea you want to explore. It's called dynamic philosophy. The soul is dynamic. Krishna is dynamic. Do you know that in spiritual world, Krishna never has a one form repeated. He has every moment a new form appear. Nobody ever saw that. And it's so attractive that they are like crazy to look after him. They literally like a magnet. Prabhupada said magnet attracts the iron. Wherever now if you say where the irons are going, see where the magnet is going. This is how spiritual world is in Golok Vrindavan. Now, spiritual world is unlimited. This verse is very beautiful. Now, if you say, I hope you all paid attention about the Brahma Jyoti. Why we are against, or not against, but we are not supporting that idea of merging into Brahma Jyoti. Because Brahma Jyoti is not a personality. Brahma Jyoti is not a manifestation of God. It is the energy of God. Where there is no variety, deep down in your heart, if you ask, what would you like? Somen Prabhu, if I ask you, what would you like? Really, what do you need? What is the purpose drives your life? If you really ask very deeply, like what do you want? Then you will appreciate Krishna consciousness more. Ask yourself, what do you really want in your life? What is the purpose should be driving my life, this life? Then you can go a very analytical study and you will come to capture Krishna's form in a particular way. Why we are not favoring to Brahma Jyoti idea, although in America, I don't know how many people are actually after that, but there are a lot of people in Himalaya side I saw. I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands of people. They think they are part of that. Because you will be stuck there and at one point you will be disturbed. 12.5, Krishna says this. Klesha adhikataras tesham abhyakta asakta chetosam. Abhyakta hi gotir dukkha deham buddhiravapati. Now I'm not going to attack anyone, but in case in your life, if you ever felt like you can't focus on the form of God, I like the idea of God, I want to worship God, I really want to do devotional service, but in your mind, you cannot absorb the form of God. I met a devotee actually. He was senior, he passed away, but he was confronting one time. It was very difficult for him to really assimilate, like how can he be all comprehensive, all pervasive in this form, deity. Pran Govinda Das, this is very difficult for me. So first, acknowledge that you have problem, that you come from a impersonal impression. Your consciousness has so much impersonal impression that you have to come out of it before you leave this world. How do you come out of it? Deity worship. Deity worship, not any other process. Deity worship has to be there with chanting. And you'll meet many people in America who actually say, yeah, I like God. Yeah, I want to believe in God. But do you believe in a form of God? Personality, preference, relationship? What? No, not exactly like that. See, that's the problem. Because impersonalism contaminated. Yes, Madarina.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this question is in my head. As you mentioned, in America, like around us, there are so many people who believe in Jesus, and they do build relationship with Jesus. They learn about pastimes and feel that it is all personality of God. This is the God, and that's how and with whom I want to be. And especially the phrase when Jesus says, "I am the way," it really attracts people. And what form of Krishna would that be? Because, and like Jesus is not the form of Krishna, as I understand. It's a prophet, right? It's also saint sent to this earth. So what would that be?
Correct. Your understanding is correct. Jesus himself said, Father, please forgive them. If he is the Father, why he's praying to Father? Doesn't make any sense. Does it? If I am God, why I will be praying to God? I mean, how many places he actually mentioned literally?
He's praying to God.
Correct. So he cannot be God. He's praying to God, Father. That means he considers himself as a son. That is correct. There's nothing wrong. Okay, now back to the other, you have a two-part I notice. Other part is that, let me ask you a question. If you have a child, well, you have a son and daughter, I know that. But if you have a child only demanding, mother, give me this. Mother, do this for me. Mother, go there for me. Do this. Give me this. Give me this. Give me this. Give me this. How long you will like this? Be honest.
Not too long.
You'll feel like, does he ever say, mother, I love you? Mommy, thank you so much. There's no reciprocation. How would you feel? Now, I'm not trying to attack them, but their whole process, I thought very deeply meditating, is like, give me, give me. They approach God only to get something. I want to go to heaven. I don't want to go to hell. Or my mother is sick, please cure her. Always for need. That is not a love to God.
There are saints in Christianity, and I also
Yes.
really believe in God, and they sincerely pray, and they on the highest level also seeing the future, understanding the needs, curing people. So there are saints. It means they did reach the level of God. But who will they see when they die? As you say, will Jesus come to them and say, hey, I'm the Son of God and this is the God? Or how would that happen if there is such explanation?
There is explanation, and our acharyas headed by Prabhupada explain. Now you did say actually there are some saints like Saint Augustine, Saint Francisco. They are actually exalted soul. I mean, I love Saint Francisco's lot of teachings. I really think even sometime. Like for an example, when this guy was mocking him when he was dying. This is in Sicily, beautiful church they have. And we were there to preach, also to look at this big, beautiful church. And there's something I learned from those priests there. They follow San Francisco, Sicily. He said, a guy was mocking him. He said, ha, ha, ha. You cure other people. Now you are dying. You cannot even cure yourself. What kind of person are you? But the answer he gave was so good. It reminded me of our acharyas. It was so advanced. He said, I never cured anybody. God was using me as an instrument, and he cured whoever it is. I never cured anybody. That was such a nice humility. And then he says, now is the time for me to go back to him. So I don't need to be cured. I need to go. He wants me to go. So I'm leaving this world. And then he died. Just by said last word, he died. That shows very advanced soul. Yes, there are many saints in Christianity also. Even Saint Augustine, I tell you, very interesting. It sounds like a Hare Krishna, advanced devotee. When he was at one point, he was so much devoted, he expressed in the church, and people were following him from afar. And he was crying in front of the church, and he said, my Lord, I want to give myself. I really want to give. I want to completely give you. But then he noticed his girlfriend on the other side, near the door. When he saw the girlfriend, then he looked at eye to eye. Then he says, wait, my Lord, give me little time. That was so wonderful. He did not give up the idea of surrendering, but he also saw that she needs to be taken care. So he also prayed in such a way we can relate. Many devotees goes through life like that. They want to surrender, but they also have other desire. They also have a responsibility. They should not just give up and just run after. So yes, many saints, I take a lot of good lessons. But I'm talking about average follower has not focused on those teachings. They take it in a selfish way. They want to, I personally interviewed, they want to go to heaven and they don't want to go to hell. It sounds like you take God as a business trade. Hey, I'll go to church as long as you give me the guarantee I'll go to heaven and I will not go to hell. What about serving God? That is not there. What about form of God, meditating on God, pleasing God 24 hours a day? Those explanations are not there. So advancement can be there, is a limited.
But Prangovinda, for example, we have with us a person who is right here listening to Bhagavad Gita, and she sincerely believes in Jesus. And when she hears your words, they hurt her because she wants to serve God, she wants to please God, and she feels that Jesus is so close to her and she can understand, what Bible says. She can understand Jesus's lessons, right? So if
Yes.
sincere person following Jesus, who would she see in the end of her life? Because you mentioned these incarnations, how would that be? Or you can say that if she sincerely wants to serve God, she will be with Krishna afterwards because she's already here.
That's very good. Thank you. Thank you. That's very nice. See, God reciprocate according to your level of advancement. In your journey, this may not be only life. You may have done last life too, maybe next life also. But when you complete the journey, it will take you to a personality or manifestation of God who you really are. See, when we talk about God and God's messenger are two different things. Just like Prabhupada, he's not God. He's God's Messiah, like Jesus. Jesus was a Messiah because Messiah voluntarily take pain, struggles to establish God consciousness in the world. But when God comes, he never suffered. There is no such thing. Material world cannot touch. He is eternally above. Of course, pure devotee also above, but they took voluntarily some pain. Just like Prabhupada took so much struggle, pain, just to establish God consciousness. So you have to ask yourself, what form of God, why you are meditating, or why you like that form of God or concept of God. Let's not talk about the form because form is actually ultimate destiny, but the concept of God. If you say, I like concept of God that everybody is nice, there is no suffering, then you'll go to a abode where these things are there. If you say, deep down in my heart, I see, I am attracted by the beauty, by the charmingness, by the loveliness, by the reciprocal. A person is so unbelievably beautiful. I can never stop looking at. When you thrive for that kind, then we talk about Krishna. Krishna is a personality of Godhead, his origin, but his personality of Godhead that once you see him, you will go crazy. Do you know word crazy? Not like crazy like a schizophrenic or bipolar in America they call. There is a different definition of crazy. No, I'm talking about really mad. Like a mad, like you cannot sleep or do anything because unbelievably beautiful person, unbelievably loving person. The whole spiritual world is vibrant. They run like this because Krishna. Of course, they don't suffer, but purification come like this. So you have to ask yourself, what concept of God you would like to meditate and achieve at the end of your journey. We create our destiny by the choice we make. And by the association also, because choice comes from the association. Sadhu Sangha we call in Sanskrit, very important in our life. Sadhu Sangha, where you actually get a reflection of the person who cares for you. We are always infected by that, you know, like all three of you are in one room. Why? Because you have a common thread. You like each other all. Or maybe you all speak the same language. So many things has to be common. Similarly, in your life, when you really go deep down in your conscious level and you say, I like that concept of God. I want that, yes, I want to be in love with God. I want to be crazy to serve him. If he is that kind of personality, I want to go there. If you have that kind of desire, then you'll go to Krishna. If you say, no, I like just no bad guys. I want to be in a place where no bad guys ever, forever. Only good guys, good girls. It's a nice society. Everybody live peacefully. Then you can go to a planet in Vaikuntha where this kind of. So you have to ask really. And believe or not, you can cheat me, you can cheat your friends, but you cannot cheat the person who is in your heart. Because whatever you're thinking, whatever you are fascinated in spiritual tribe, he knows, he witnesses, he checks everything. At the moment of death, whatever you actually accumulated, it will produce a result where you're going to go. So you have to ask yourself, what form of God you're going to get? It depends on what form of thought you are dwelling in every day. Does that make sense? You are on your own. Each of us, we will fly at the moment of death, our own flight. There is no passenger, no driver, no pilot, nobody. Just you and God. Whatever concept you have, it will take you there. Jadrishi, Jadrishi, Bhavana, Jesya, Siddhir, Bhavati, Tadrishi. Why I'm quoting this, even you say, what are you talking about? This sloka. Just to confirm what I was thinking, whether it's perfectly all right. That's why we bring a reference, because these scriptures are spoken by God himself. So when we bring the reference, then it revalidates our expression. It empowers us. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ramgavini Prabhu. Petra has to leave now. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you for joining. Mother Gorangi, you have something to share? You have a raised
No,
hand.
not to share. Just you might have answered this one already, but when a person approaches God with that gimme, 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 you know, mentality or attitude, which form of Krishna will reciprocate with that person?
If there is no service attitude, they are not going to go too far, because spiritual world, at least in Vaikuntha and up, it's all began with two things: subordination and service. No service attitude, no crazy for serving. I mean, I don't mean like a crazy, but if you have a strong desire for service and you have a under guidance, you follow a personality who is guiding you to serve, then you are entering into Vaikuntha domain and up. Until that, they can go up to the border and below. Biraja, Brahmajyoti, so many places they are also. They are also unlimited almost. I mean, Biraja, where the river or ocean made of consciousness. And there's a billions and trillions and zillions of the soul eternally are there until they feel disturbed, and then they fall back again to the material world. And above them is Brahmajyoti, where there's a two tires. One is Shiva Loka and one is Siddha Loka. Siddha Loka, where all the Gyani, the demons that Krishna kills, they don't go to spiritual abode. They go to that part of spiritual world. Prabhupada even says in Madhya-lila 20 chapter, I believe, that Krishna does not, that is not even considered spiritual world because there is no service. I'm sure you can relate, mother, when you are exhausted. I don't know if you ever felt like that. You work. You're so exhausted, you feel like to go to closet. No, I mean your bedroom, throw the telephone, throw everything, just want to sleep for as long it's needed to recoup. So there are some people, some soul in this material world, they're tired. They say, we don't want anything. I don't want anything. Just let me get out from the material world. Okay, you get out. Then what? But we have to understand first thing. You can look at 3rd chapter, text 5. Mittachara uchyate. Krishna says, you are always active. The soul is eternally active. I hope you all remember this. Soul are eternally active. Only reason we go to sleep because we think we are this body, and bodily related, it exhausts us, tires us. And the problem is we draw happiness from it. Oh, I feel so good. What happened? I had a good sleep. Oh, how do you come up with this? Drawing some happiness from the sleep? Because you identify with the body and you are exhausted. There's nothing wrong. We need to rest this body. But to draw the happiness, highest happiness from sleep, like this one scientist, Stephen Cope's wife, she told me, Govind, you wasting your time. I said, how? She said, I sleep 12 hours minimum, and you sleep not even half of it. So you wasting happiness. So I remember we had a talk for 2 hours, and Stephen, her husband, who is a naturalist, he loves nature. He loves birds. Actually, he flies different part of the America just to see the birds. He's a big scientist here, but he always loved. So I told him, you'll take 3 lives minimum to become a Hare Krishna. He said, I don't want to be Hare Krishna. I said, no, you're going to be, but not in this life. You cannot think. But of course, they got some prasadam, they got some books. But according to Prabhupada, he said, those who loves nature, you'll see many people, they don't believe in anything, but they love the beautiful sky. They will say, wow, so nice sky. Look at this garden, so beautiful. They appreciate the nature. What is nature? Krishna's energy. This is the verse. Text 4, we are reading. You just read, right? We just read. This is Krishna's nature. So they are appreciating Krishna's nature, external nature. Next life, they will be born worshipping demigod. And next life, they will be Shiva Bhakta. And next life, they will come to Hare Krishnas. And if they don't want to go through all these 3, they don't know. Most of them, they have no idea. We are just saying it because this is how Bhagavatam explained. But those who are intelligent and fortunate, they will say, forget it, I'll just become a Hare Krishna now, this life. And once you take Guru's initiation from Guru, then your karma has a different shape. Is no more bound like the karmis. Like for an example, we have a one Mataji in Alachua who suffered a lot with the COVID. Now she's better. So I remember, because I make the announcement in the temple and we pray for every devotee whoever goes through this. So we were talking today, other day, I said, what was the difference between you got COVID and person who is suffering and didn't want to contact the doctor? What would be the difference? The difference is that you have some shelter. Somebody is looking after and aware of your sickness. Even though both may be going through the suffering, but the person who has a doctor, he is thinking, I'm getting out of the suffering. But the person who never went to doctor, they have no idea how long this disease will last. So the devotee suffering and karmic suffering are two different things. Also, karmic suffering, you can say, I look at different angle. Karmic suffering is like you have a serious pain, chronic pain, but you take some painkiller from CVS or whatever, Walgreen, they like dominated the country. Every big city corner, I see these two. I was like, I never saw this before last 10 years. So those who are taking painkiller, they are called kormi. What does that mean? Means they have a chronic pain, but they take the sex, movie, enjoy of this world, and they think we can live on that. They cannot live on that. They have to die and take a rebirth and live on, keep going on the painkiller. Every day you take painkiller, pain is still there, but for a devotee, they don't take a painkiller. Sometimes devotee's life, even I saw, they may go through even little tougher than karmis. But there is no loss. It's not a comparison. Why? Because he has a captain, guru, and Krishna name is chanted by that devotee. So obviously, even that devotee goes through some suffering because no painkiller. The chronic pain, taking the medication from the doctor, will eventually completely cure. Big difference, isn't it? You will get completely cured. But when you don't take painkiller, you may go through worse pain than the karmis. And the karmis, they are not curing the disease. They're just suppressing, subsiding by this alternative process called sense gratification. There is no end of it. So it's a big difference.
So,
I don't know why I went that route.
but Prabhu, so you, when it comes to those who just want sense gratification, right? I think you were making the distinction between those who want to serve or have some interest in service and those who do not. So those who are interested in this selfish enjoyment, right? And they don't have interest in service, then I'm still not so clear which form of God, if any form of him at all, will be dealing with them.
Brahmaji, because Prabhupada actually mentioned this. He said that idea that Christianity has. Now there is a two idea. One is that follower of Bible, but Catholic mysticism also there. Catholic mysticism, I read one time, Catholic mysticism has some hint of confidential, you can say, relationship with God. Just like this lady, she folded her hand, bent down in Bethlehem and asked Jesus, can I love God? This is in Catholic mysticism, has this story. Can I love God as a lover? So Jesus said, if you feel you can, but I cannot think. I only kneel down and kiss his hand. And that's the max I go. I don't go further than. But if you feel, so that means because Catholic mysticism has this hint, means there are some. But if you ask average people, they don't have any clue about this service idea. So because in Bible, John, it says that God created heaven and earth. Now, the difference is we are going to be a member of the God's family through the service. And we are made, our constitutional position is also as a servant. So through servant, as a servant, through service, we have a full access. So that's a wonderful. Now, if somebody don't want to serve, but they want to go to God, they will go to up to Satyaloka, Brahmaloka. That's it. And hopefully in Brahmaloka, by the influence of the Brahma Rishis, there are three types of people in Brahmaloka. So one types of people are like devotee. In Brahmaloka, there is also one group of devotees there. They are not in Lord Chaitanya's follower in a sense. They are like going by millions of lives, spiritualism. Finally, they went to Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. They went to the highest realm of this universe, and they will wait for 311 trillion years. I don't know what is that means. It's just a number to me. I have no idea what is trillion really means. I mean, I can say what trillion is, but I have no clue. They have to wait there 311 trillion years. And then if they still stick to the principle, they want to go to spiritual world with Brahmaji, they will enter into Vaikuntha Loka. What we are experiencing right now with Krishna consciousness, this is like I tell you honestly, what happened last year in India. Last year in India, no, 2 years back, when the COVID started, was heavy. Last year, one of the school in our village, I heard from a second hand, the principal said, this year no exam because of the COVID, we don't want anybody to come. You all automatically graduate. Wow, they graduated from high school without examination. Now, if somebody say, wow, will it be for me this year? No. These are like exceptional cases. Now, if you ask anybody in this world, everybody graduate from high school through exam. They go through exam. But due to the COVID situation, there was the one time in 100 years, well, I don't know if that school was for 100 years, but at least first time in the history, they didn't go through the exam to graduate. And he said, everybody graduate. Nobody has to come to exam because of the COVID. So what Lord Chaitanya did, what Krishna consciousness is doing, it like this. We don't deserve, but we can get out from this material world by accepting Krishna consciousness and go to the highest realm. That's why those verses are so prominent. You look at Chaitanya Charitamrita, the first chapter, verse number 4. It tells you the anarpita charim chira, never given to the soul like this. Can you imagine you get your PhD without writing any thesis? How is that possible? Possible, but extremely rare. Rabindranath Tagore, I don't know if anybody heard that name. Rabindranath Tagore, he composed poem and he got Nobel Prize. But do you know he's a 5th grade dropout? He never finished the school. But he became the genius on writing poem and he got Nobel Prize. Now, how many children you think should try, drop out from 5th grade and will get Nobel Prize? Anybody would like to answer my question? How many you think will ever happen this? 5th grade dropped out,
Yeah, nobody.
will get a Nobel Prize.
Nobody.
Nobody, thank you. I doubt anybody will ever happen this. But it did happen to Rabindranath Tagore. He got Nobel Prize. But he was dropped out. He literally dropped. He never went to school. And his parents was worried. But he was so much into, I guess his karma also was like that. Then he literally went to the best poet in the history of India. And he got Nobel Prize. So similarly, what Krishna consciousness is doing, I wish people would understand and grab this. This is a rare opportunity. Never given, never will be given, I don't know. God can do anything he wants, but it's never recorded that ever given like that. So back to your answer, if they do not have a developed service attitude, maximum they will go to Sattva-loka, where service is not there. You still have your own selfish desire. I
But
want
can
to
we,
go to that.
but
Yeah.
can we call that, that doesn't seem to be like a form of Krishna though, is it?
Yes, Brahmaji is a incarnation. Guna avatar is a quality incarnation of Krishna.
Yeah, I thought you would say that.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about if that same, how about the same attitude of wanting gimme, 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 but there is, you know, a willingness to serve, or, you know, I don't know if I should say, you know, there's some people who feel, you know, I'm trying to be a good person, you know. I don't know if I should put that in the same category with service, but they are trying. Okay, let's say there's somebody with some inclination to serve, but their real motive is for their selfish enjoyment. They will serve, but that's their ulterior motive for self. So which form of Krishna will that person see?
Well, see, when we talk about Krishna consciousness, it's a little difference versus standard process. Why it is difference? If we look at Dhruva Maharaj, what was his starting point? I want bigger kingdom than my father. No, bigger than my grandfather. Which part was serving to God? Nothing. It was all selfish. But because it came in contact with Krishna, Narad Muni was in between. Guru, perfect Guru. He was following Narad Muni. And he came in contact with Krishna. This 100% selfish desire became selfless, perfect devotee. If you think that, then you can really appreciate. Doesn't matter how much selfish desire I have, as long as I'm hanging around with the devotee and chanting and growing in this process, eventually I'll become the perfect selfless servant. Dhruva Maharaj proved it. Many examples in our scripture like that. It makes sense?
Yeah, but it seems like there's still even gradations among devotees, you know, who, depending upon the mentality of the devotee, you know, which aspect of Krishna you will see. Like, as you were saying, some will see Ramchandra, you know, some will
Yes,
see.
yes. Because Krishna does not want to deprive you. You desire, you dwell in that concept, Krishna will fulfill you desire. Like when Gajendra was praying, many other personality, even demigod, wanted to express, maybe he's calling us, but finally they understood that he's calling the Supreme Lord. So whatever form we meditate, whatever relationship we meditate, whatever characteristic, whatever the personality we are dwelling on, Krishna will reciprocate. But my point is, those who are in Krishna consciousness now, if they keep on practicing and progressing, we cannot underestimate where they are going to go, because they all will end up there in Golok Vrindavan because of their wonderful gift that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. We can never underestimate. I mean, if you look at, even if I look at my own life, I didn't have a strong desire. Now I have a strong desire, at least some aspect. I didn't have a strong desire. I was just hanging around. So we are, because we are conscious being, also we are changing, transforming our consciousness. More we hang around and chant and hear, we are actually transforming our heart, and we'll come to a point where 100% dedication will take place.
You know, Prabhu, you said that, you know, this inconceivable opportunity that we have, you know, it's like getting a doctorate without having to even write a thesis. But a person might argue that, you know, we're Kali Yuga people. For us, doing our chanting that is like thesis, you know. So
Yes, yes, yes.
so then what is it that we are getting away with? What is it that we don't have to do that we would normally have had to have done? You know, what is it that we're getting away with not having to do?
We are acting like a bee. No onodesti kalim sanga samrat saranga eva sarabhuk. Saranga, like a bumblebees. Bumblebees are not actually interested. Hey, who owns this garden? Who waters, who planted this flower? Who waters the flower? Bumblebees does not ask any of this. Bumblebees goes to the flower, suck the honey, get out. And the devotees are becoming like this. And this is what happening. That because devotees are acting like this, they will eventually end up of going to Golok Vrindavan. Otherwise, to go to Golok Vrindavan, it may take millions of lives, meditation, sadhana, to really think of going there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the teachers that came in our life are so important. Can you imagine Radharani's intimate associate Rupa Goswami was serving a beef-eater Muslim king? How many millions of people came across to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami? They all got spiritual credit. Now, of course, Krishna will never force us to become a lover. God will never force any soul to become a lover. But our association can influence us. God will help us by giving association. But still, there is a choice we make. And the more we understand this, more we want to dive into it. And that's why our destination actually changing. Just like this girl, Mataji, she is with Mother Anastasia and Ina. She loves Jesus. Wonderful. You have an attraction for Jesus. You are already fortunate. Now, by Jesus' mercy, you have come to Krishna consciousness. So don't lose that respect to Jesus. But Jesus wants you to go further, up, 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 up. It's a very rare opportunity. But my little last note, don't neglect spiritual life, because you already came to spiritual path. If you neglect, you may go to heaven next life. And you may get chance to further progress, but in heaven is not a place for doing sadhana, practice. So what will happen? You will come back here. But by the time you go there and come back, when you come back, there is no Hare Krishna society. According to Prabhupada, 10,000 years will be over. And I don't want to talk about it, but it's scary. People will be civilized after 10,000 years. You know how civilization is? Oh, I'll sell my children to you so you can eat them, because I feel guilty to eat my own children. And you will sell your children to me so I can eat them. Now you may think like, what? Yeah, this is how the Kali Yuga will progress. So degraded is unbelievable. We cannot imagine. When you read Bhavishya Purana and some of this future after 10,000 years, you feel like, my God, everybody should get out as soon as possible. Not, I don't mean death, I mean purity, consciousness, pure consciousness. They should get into this as soon as possible. That's why ISKCON, everybody is aggressive to preach. and bring people to Krishna consciousness. Because we are running out. There are a lot of human beings right now. If they did not come in contact with Krishna consciousness, they die. They lost their human life. Literally, they lost their human life. It's very sad, extremely sad.
Prabhu, really, I'm sorry to belabor this point, but you know, in this, when we're doing our sadhana, we're doing our various items of sadhana, the japa, you know, all these tapasya, you know, during this anartha nivritti stage is so tough, you know, it's hard to feel like we are getting some inconceivable mercy, you know. So how to understand that we are actually getting some inconceivable mercy, like, you know, not having to do a thesis, you know? How to understand that when we're struggling so much?
Anybody ever started a business or construction or anything you start in this world? What happened the first thing? Idea. Idea, conceptualizing. Idea. Maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to build a building, or I want to get a job. Idea, first idea, you contemplate. You don't focus on, oh my God, there's so much challenges, so many things to buy. No, you just have an idea. Once you conceive that idea and have that faith, then slowly it start manifesting. Yes, anartha nivritti is there, challenges are there, but what is the loss? There is no loss. Now you may say, well, but what about convince that, how do I convince myself that actually I'm getting something beyond imagination? Well, as simple as this. How do you explain fascinating of romantic life to a 3-year-old girl? It's almost impossible. But if that girl grow up naturally with the environment of a loving, caring, good food, good association, when she becomes 18, 15, whatever, she will start appreciating. So we are growing like this. We are growing. We may have a doubt, we may have all this, but as long we progress in sadhana, even I say boldly because of Prabhupada's word, even if we don't make it to the last point, what is the loss? There is no loss. Now, if you have a Bhagavad Gita, you look at 11.33. What did Krishna say? 11.33, what did Krishna say? Say for an example, I'm just throwing this in order to conclude that say you could not make it. I don't know, I never felt like that intimate relationship with Krishna. I never felt like, I mean, I'm not saying this is what will happen to anybody, but it may. If that person ever comes to a point like, okay, I did not have any high dimension Krishna Prem experience, how would I have a guarantee that actually I will be arriving there? I'll be receiving there. So if anybody has the access of that, can you read the translation for me, for us, please? Anybody has Bhagavad Gita 11.33?
Yes, 11 chapter and 34.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mother Shivani, go ahead.
Therefore, get up and prepare to fight. After conquering your enemies, you will enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement of you. Oh,
Andrew.
and you, you're right, Mataji. Oh, how do you pronounce that word?
Sabbasati.
Savyasati can be put an instrument in the fight.
Can be but an instrument in the fight.
Can be but, yes, can be
Yes,
but
can
an
be
instrument.
but. Yes.
So now if you look at that verse, you think very deeply, just for a moment. You'll be so happy, you'll start dance in your house. Why? Because at least you are showing interest. You are acting as Krishna wants you to act. Here, Bhagavad Gita, 5 things I always say. Be conscious of God, serve God, then become his devotee, surrender to him, share this knowledge. These 5 things you do, whatever capacity you do, it doesn't matter. Why? Because the result of your spiritual practice, it's already done. It's not that you going to make it. Can you see in the translation what Krishna says? What will be the outcome of the war? Is it already mentioned in that translation? What will be the outcome of the war? Can somebody
said-
tell me?
You will enjoy a flourishing kingdom.
Correct. He already said that they are already dead. Well, they're still alive. No, they're waiting for a few moments, just few more days. 18 days, everything will be wiped out. But they're already dead in one sense. So what God is asking Arjuna to do? Become my instrument. Sabbasachi, become my instrument. Act on behalf of me. And I really appreciate that how Krishna wonderfully explained. Because some people, mother, some people will think that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to pursue Arjuna to fight, to establish dharma. But this verse reveals that the opponents of dharma were already neutralized by Krishna's arrangement. Can we say that? Yes. Arjuna just had to become an instrument in that arrangement. If Krishna had beforehand secured the result, why did he speak the Gita to Arjuna? You ask that question also. Because he wanted to instruct Arjuna, and through Arjuna, all of us. About what? About the art of working in devotional consciousness. So here Gita explained that the result of our work are not solely in our hand. Can you remember this? The results of our work are not solely in our hands. They are shaped by factors beyond our control. Factors that ultimately under Krishna's control, God's control. So when he desires a particular result, he can arrange for it by his omnipotence. He doesn't need us for that. But we need to connect with him. If we are to realize our longing for lasting love and joy as his eternal parts, or you can say servant, we can connect with him by working in a mood of loving service to him. This conversation, even this discussion, is a service, loving service. This is not just an immature talk. No, this is what we're supposed to be doing, discussion. We can connect with Krishna, with God, by working in a mood of loving service. So moreover, focusing endeavor instead of results also provide us mental stability. And if we are too attached to the result, then failing to get it will make us depressed. I'm giving you a warning, Mataji. No, I'm not giving you warning, but it appears like warning. If we are too attached to the result, then failing to get it will make us depressed. Getting it make us elated, but only temporarily, because everything material is temporary. And overall, craving for the result will keep us agitated. So what should we do, you may say? Well, if we understand that Krishna wants us more than the result, just like this verse says to Arjuna, become my instrument. They are already dead. You're going to flourish. You enjoy the kingdom. Wow. So instead, if we understand that Krishna wants us more than the result, then we will strive diligently to offer him the result, to express our devotion. Even if the result doesn't work out, still our endeavor itself will please him. Can somebody reflect me what I just said? It's Prabhupada's word, I remember. That's why I added that. I'm going to say it one more time. Even if the result does not work out, still our endeavor that you are hearing, you are chanting, whatever endeavor you're doing every day, itself will please Krishna. And he will reciprocate by revealing his all attractiveness, thereby increasing our attraction for him. So what's the result? The resulting divine absorption. And it will provide us security, satisfaction in both failure and success. Now I'll tell you one example. I'm sure you heard about Jatayu. Mother Gorangi, you heard about Jatayu?
Yes.
Did he make success?
No, not
Yes.
externally.
Yes and no. You have to say yes and no.
Yes, it was
Material.
yes and no.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Materially, he did not succeed. Because I mean, he's a powerful bird, but to Ravana, who is unbelievably powerful, to him is nothing. But spiritually, he made 100% success because he met Ram. And Ram gave him option. Do you want another body? Would you like to do something? No, I want to just go to spiritual world and serve you eternally there. Okay, whatever you wish. So even if we fail, it's still a success because Krishna already has the result, what we are going to do in spiritual world. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Krishna consciousness is so beautiful. We should do only one thing. I'm begging all of you, encourage, inspire each other to go on spiritual life. That's all. Ultimately, Krishna will give us ultimate object of loving him. Is that okay?
Yeah, you said that if we do those 5 things, always think of Krishna, worship him, distribute Krishna consciousness to others. You said if those 5 things are there, then I forget exactly what you said, some successes already done. We don't have to do you remember this part?
Complete success. What do you want? If I ask you, why are you practicing Krishna consciousness? What do you want? You want to awake Krishna Prem? I'm answering for you. I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Okay. And some of you may say, well, I want to go back home, back to Godhead. I want to go to Golok Vrindavan. Okay. You have a Bhagavad Gita 18.68. Mother Ina, you have it? I see you have a book. Okay, good. Can you read this 18.68? Krishna says, if you do these 5, you will get 2 results. You will get Krishna Prem and you will come back to me without doubt. Isn't it so beautiful? Krishna is the best form, best Lord in every way you look at it. There is no explanation of God is as good as when Krishna himself speaks. Go ahead, Mother Ina. If you have it, read it loud.
For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, your devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me.
So pure devotional service is guaranteed, Krishna Prem, and he will come back to me. Guaranteed. What more you want? It's so nice, so perfect. It's wonderful. Thank you, Mother Gorangi. That was a very nice steering question. You brought a good conclusion.
Thank you for your responses.
Thank you. Anybody would like to tell me what you're going to take away? Prahladananda Prabhu, you had a raised hand. You wanted to contribute something or something?
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. What you have said has made me so elated, giving that COVID example of the high school graduation. I already feel I'm graduated now because of the mercy. Okay,
Thank you.
Bhagavan Krishna also says that Neha Vikramana Swasti Pratyavayo Dhavidyate. So Alpapi Dharmasya Trayate Mahabhara. So the greatest fear is to get another physical body. Bhagavan Krishna says, Swa-alpapi dharma. Very little effort you have done, it's my responsibility. Bhavamina chirat part, maya vesiti. He will lift you up.
Yes.
Full faith in him. He will do that for all of us.
Very nice. Very nice. Prabhupada actually on one lecture when he quoted this verse, Neha Vikramana Swasti Pratyavayo Dhavidyate, he said, if you finish 27%, you will start from 28% next slide. I was like, wow, that's very, very particular. Because you wonder like, okay, next life, what will happen? If I could not finish this life, next life, I will start again, taking birth, going to the school, and then some Hare Krishna comes and introduce, then we start. How does it start? Prabhupada said, no, if you finish 27%, now don't ask me why he said 27%. It's just a word he said. Next life you start from 28%, means you don't have to go through 1 to 27% again. Isn't so nice? So beautiful. Okay, somebody please share with us what you're going to take away from today's discussion. One or two. I see Mother Puja is here. Are you working or you can speak?
Maybe the form of Krishna that is in your heart will depend on how you relate to him.
Very nice. Very good. Very good. Because there is a verse, Jadrishi Jadrishi Bhavana Jasya Siddhir Bhavati. As you are contemplating, thinking of God, that's what you get. That's what you get.
Yeah, it reminds me actually of verse 4:11, right?
Yes, Jejathamam Prapadante Tangstadeva Vajamiham. Yes, that is also there. That is also there. Yes, very good. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Yes, Madarina, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
I have a question. I don't know if it's allowed if you wanted to leave already. But the question is, it feels like we just read in the end of guarantees which Krishna gives and says, hey, it's already happened, you just instrument, it already happened, and you're guaranteed to be here. It's also encouragement, but it's also discouraging to go through difficulties or even with sadhana because you already have all these guarantees. Then result is already happened, then no matter what you do, it's already there, It's kind of more on the relaxing part to it than to be more of a strict rules and strict regulations and sadhana.
Would you like to be lazy in your
Yes.
sadhana? No, you cannot be lazy. No, what it means what you're going to get, Krishna already has the result. But Krishna wants Arjuna to keep on fighting on behalf of him as his man. So you have to do your sadhana. If you did not finish your sadhana this life, you say, okay, I don't care. From tomorrow, I will not chant and do anything. You have to come back again, next life, to continue that sadhana. So I hope that scares you or remain clear. Whole life, this one life. I give you a nice story about Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He passed away. He was one of our hero in ISKCON. he told Prabhupada, it's so much service. He was in charge in Bombay. Those days we were not big in Bombay. Prabhupada went very hard struggle to establish Krishna consciousness in Bombay. He come from Calcutta, he was born in Calcutta. And in Calcutta, when he went, there was a communist. Well, you're from Russia, so you know what communist is. I don't know, maybe different. But government was asking Prabhupada that what is this chanting Hare Krishna? And Prabhupada was like shocked. He said, you all are from Bengal and Lord Chaitanya is from Bengal, and you don't know what is Hare Krishna? You asking me? He was so straight, bold. So don't you feel shame to ask this instead of researching that Lord Chaitanya, Lord appeared in your own state and you have no clue? Because communist at that time, communist was so heavy in Bengal, West Bengal. Right now is not there anymore, but they were for 35 years, Bengal. So it was like this. It was very hard struggle for him. So he mentioned to Tamal Krishna Maharaj was going through hard time. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj told Prabhupada, I cannot focus on Krishna. So much service, so much pressure. Prabhupada, I feel like I'm failing. Prabhupada says, turn back. He says, just give this life for Krishna. Till your last breath, try your best. Whatever you are lacking, Lord Chaitanya will come and fill up the gap and take you back home, back to Godhead. Isn't so sweet? I love that. I meditate sometimes. Okay, I'll do my best this life. Even if I fail, but Prabhupada and Mahaprabhu will be there to fill up the gap what I could not done it and take me back home. I have to do my part. We cannot be lazy. That's not the purpose of my discussion. You have to keep on going. But ultimately, you will achieve and receive what you destined to get, even if you materially fail. But try your best. Is that okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhave vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Thank you, Hare Krishna. I'll see you all next